This is a very interesting comment because, in my opinion, it's that comment that showcases exactly what it is that people do with subscription services and how they take advantage of these subscription services and then how these subscription services make their money as well. It's more of, in my opinion anyways, an even, transaction when it comes down to it. This user, shout out to you, Coach John McGurrick, I think that's your username. They said, recently got Game Pass for a month and timed it so I could play the Oblivion Remaster and Dark Ages. Would have been over $120 if I bought them on Steam, and I only paid $15 to play them. I don't know if that benefited the Xbox platform, but my wallet sure benefited. In my opinion, this is something that a lot of people have used as a bad thing. Well, these Game Pass subscribers, people sub and go away. They don't necessarily, just stay in the Game Pass subscription service. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Paramount Plus. Sure, they got some good movies. Sure, they got some TV shows, but I only got it for Champions League. Once the Champions League final is played, I'm dumping that sub, and then once we get back into, say, the much more intense group stages, I may get it again just so that I could watch the games if I have the opportunity to. What's even crazy is majority of the games, they play them while I'm at work. I think I can catch the tail end of the game as I'm getting off work. Or I have to come home and basically quickly watch what I can to avoid spoilers. But it's just really a convenience as well. And there's a member of my family who actually said, hey, there's a show I want to watch on there. So that became kind of a mutually beneficial aspect in terms of spending that $5 or $4.99 or $5.99 every month. And that's all it is. It's sub and dump. That's what you do with these content pieces that you don't own. You don't own licenses to, well, I guess you rent licenses. In some cases, you buy licenses. But that's pretty much the way. A lot of people have made it seem like gamers don't necessarily have financial savvy natures in them to be able to leverage these things. If anybody were to ask you during the PS4 days if you would like a service like Game Pass where you could play day one games every single day, you would have jumped on the opportunity. It's quite shameful to see the entire gaming space in the conversations now about all of this stuff eventually go out and now flake out on everybody because it's cool to rag on Xbox or to make all of these particular claims. Like, oh yeah, let's just point it out. Most of us here are millennials. 20 years ago, right? Were you making the kind of money that you make now to be able to brag and say, I buy my games? Many of us were not. Just be honest, especially in the millennial category. I mean, the oldest millennial right now, hold on, let me go ahead and look it up. Let me just go ahead and call everybody out, right? Even including myself, we're all going to go down together. I'm the captain here. Hold on. How old is the oldest millennial? Hold on. The oldest millennial, those born in 1981, are now 43 years, 5 months, and 45 days old. So 20 years ago, most of us were in our 20s, some a little older. At that time in our 20s, many of us were still trying to build things in that regard. Now, most of us are still not too far off from there. Most of us have not even hit 40. Some of us are in the 40s, right? And we're looking at this stuff. And we can tell you for sure that a service like Game Pass would have been absolutely phenomenal. You look for the public holidays, you look for the days that you're off, you look for the weekends that you're off, and you hit a subscribe button, and bam, you step your foot on the gas. Do you know how I know that we would have been doing stuff like that? Let me tell you how. Because many of us, right, and some more use services like GameFly. Oh, yes. Today is the day. You and me. You're locked in here with me. And I'm going to expose all of us. GameFly was that service that everybody was talking about at the time where you could rent these games, you played them, and then you shipped them back to where they came from because it was much more convenient from a financial perspective to play the game at the moment because it was a launch game. It was a game that basically, came out and you wanted to go ahead and get in on there and not YouTube the whole thing. And you put it back in the envelope and you shipped it back. I never got to use GameFly. I was fortunate enough. There were 2 video stores in my town in the PS4 era. It was insane. One of them closed down, but another one stayed strong. And that one was the one that kind of stayed open until the entry of the PlayStation 5 generation before they closed down. So I had a physical store where I could actually jump into and reserve, or even rent these games once they launched. I was on the phone calling, do you guys have a copy of this? Do you guys have a copy of this? Do you guys have a copy of that? And I would get them, take them home, beat them, return them. It was nice to not play a game like Jump Force. Whew. and buy that game. I thought that game was going to be, you know, something different. And when I bought it, when I rented it and played it, I was like, man, thank God I dodged a big fat RPG ordinance flying my way, because that game was not it at all. So when you think about this whole paradigm and the way people have now become elitist, it's either that they've forgotten the former days, or their mommy is buying these games or was buying these games for them, or they're lying that they have these unlimited resources that are somewhere in, you know, there, and then they can just buy whatever they want. That's all fugazi. Even if they do have all the money and they're spending it, they probably need to check and see if these games are actually that important to them, or are they even beating these games when they buy them. The other category will be the, you know, social media, Twitter, and, you know, talking head, that all they want to do is say, well, I buy my games. You know, I bought this game, and when it came out, I bought it. And they just want to sit there and just tout and show you that they're buying these games. In reality, they're just gathering a bunch of digital licenses that are of almost no consequence. So shout out to the gentleman who did this methodology. This is a methodology that I recommend. Don't worry about me. I heard somebody the other day telling me, VG, how many games on Game Pass do you play? I'm like, bro, I'm a content creator, man. Like, I play them. I tell you about them. I'm like, hey, see what is on here. And then Uncle Sam and I will negotiate what that cost actually looks like. You, on the other hand, you ain't negotiating with Uncle Sam post your, you know, net income that you've already gotten from your employer. So again, it's a whole different conversation when it comes down to it. And so are these other folks out here that are touting that they're buying games. They're all using it as, you know, tax shields. I just call it what it is. So thanks for watching the video. Talk to you all in another one. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Peace out.